G'day folks, Conor here from C-Dubs Media, here with a full review on the Oppo Find X3 Pro. So without further ado, hit the like button and the subscribe button and let's get stuck into the video. Let's go. There it is folks, the Find X3 Pro from Oppo. Now this device is 6.7 inches in diameter, comes in with a full HD AMOLED display, 120Hz refresh rate, 256 gigabytes of storage, and up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Mine has a moderate 12 gigabytes of RAM, and there also is an 8 gigabyte version floating around as well. We have a Snapdragon 888 or a Snapdragon 888 5G, an Adreno 660 and Gorilla Glass on the front, up to Gorilla Glass version 5. Now it does have glass on the front, glass on the back and an aluminium frame, but I tell you the back looks stunning in correct light as you can see from these videos, and it looks metallic, but it is glass and wireless charging works a treat on it. You will not be disappointed. Now also looking at the body, we do have an in-display fingerprint sensor, which to me is really fast and I do enjoy using it. However, it is a little bit close to the bottom of the phone. It's not natural where my thumb rests, so it'd be good if I could move that up just a little bit, but the face unlock, as usual with Oppo phones, is super duper quick. You won't have a problem with it. And in fact, if you have face unlock and fingerprint unlock set up, most of the time, by the time you look at your phone to unlock it with your fingerprint, it's already unlocked because you used your face to unlock it. So it's great to see Oppo just killing it. This display, the body, everything about this phone is premium, and that's where it sits in the market. It's that premium price point. It's definitely a competitor with the iPhone and the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Now I know a lot of people still haven't heard of Oppo and still think, what, Oppo? They can't be as good as Samsung or Apple. But I can assure you the Find X3 Pro is a flagship device and one you will not be disappointed with from the design, but also the hardware. Here I go, my biggest complaint with the display, fingerprints. You only got to walk past this thing and it gets fingerprints on it. Now I did mention that it's running the Snapdragon 888 5G, my version is running 12 gigabytes of RAM and has the Adreno 660. So it's Android version 11 and ColorOS version 11.2. That software with this hardware makes this one of the fastest phones I have used. So just scrolling between your Google feed and your app drawer and your home feed, it's going to be really quick. It's just going to be buttery smooth. But also when you're going up and down through, say, apps like Instagram or surfing the internet, scrolling through these internet pages is a breeze on the Oppo Find X3 Pro. You won't have any lag or stutter unless it's the web page loading, but not actually from the device itself. So I'd have to say that it's a real pass for me on that software side of things, coupled with that hardware. And then moving into this, we have gaming, and the gaming on this is as good as you would expect from any phone. So 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10 Plus in the display as well. Again, with that hardware, you do have a really fluid gaming experience. I didn't really see any problems with what I was looking at when I was gaming, playing Call of Duty Mobile, Leo's Fortune, a couple other games as well. Absolutely no stutter or lag at all. In high graphics settings, full graphic mode, beast mode for gaming, no problems whatsoever. Now, people do often ask me in the comments, what about using it for a phone? And I don't have any problems using it for a phone. The 5G connection is pretty solid, but that depends on your carrier and where you live. I mean, some people will never get 5G. For me, it was fine. I didn't have any problems with talking on it, no call dropouts or anything like that. Also, using the internet out when I'm in a 5G zone, it was really fast as well. So if you're the old school person who just likes to use their phone as a telephone, you're going to have no problems here. Let's look at, if you think of entertainment on your phone, what do you have? You watch content on it and you create content on it. And now your content creation might just be a quick photo and send it off through Snapchat. Or you might be a hardcore video producer who uses their phone all the time to get quality looking images and videos. You can definitely get that on the Oppo Find X3 Pro. So you have 4K 60 frames per second. And not only do you have 4K 60, but it actually looks like it's stabilized, but you can only use pro level stabilization in 1080p 60 or beneath it. So to have this 4K 60, which looks really stabilized and really good quality, was really refreshing. I loved it. I go out and I do some filming on my phone. It's always like just random shots and videos here and there, nothing too special. But I was really impressed with the quality I got from it. It's never going to replace my good camera, my DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, but it is definitely something you'd be happy to carry around in your pocket. For all you casual shooters and people who like filming, yeah, it's going to be great. Slow motion, 1080p 60, 1080p 30 frames per second, and 720p, which we don't really need these days, but it is there as well. Photography. So you've got 4 lenses on this beast. You've got a 50 megapixel wide angle lens, which takes great photos. Then you've got a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle lens. Then you have your 13 megapixel telephoto, and then you have a 3 megapixel macro. Now, at first, I didn't think the macro worked because I wasn't focusing on what it was telling me. So you got to hold this camera like 1 centimeter from your subject, and then it will take a macro shot. And this is a true macro. This isn't like take a photo and zoom in on it. This is a macro shot. And here you can see what I'm talking about. Here is the grips on the scooter I was riding, and here it is in macro mode. Right up in the groove, it looks like the Grand Canyon, but then you go back to the normal wide angle lens and you can see that it's a tiny little crack in the handle. So really cool. I think that's something that you might enjoy playing with, but it's not the be all and end all. For me, the be all and end all was in the day-to-day photos. Whether it was low light or daylight, I was really impressed with the quality of the images. Now, all images on smartphones do start to fall apart in low light. I always say that because it's true. But here, you're starting to see some really good images, and I took a couple next to my Galaxy S21 Ultra, and it was like splitting hairs. I mean, the quality was really good in both of them for that night mode, and you can see there's a little bit of shift in the color of the clouds and stuff like that because the light tends to bounce off the clouds. They're like a little softbox. But other than that, I was really impressed. Now, if you zoom in, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of artifacts and that sort of thing, but just for sharing on social media, not a problem. So you can definitely create content on the Oppo Find X3 Pro. It is killer for that sort of stuff. Then the other side of creating content is watching content, and it looks great as well. I mean, watching Netflix and YouTube on this HDR10 Plus 6.7 inch AMOLED display was really easy to do. And you can definitely see a lot of darker blacks in it. It's really sort of quite punchy with that HDR10 Plus on as well, if your content supports it. So I think you'll enjoy that. And this is why I'm leaning towards Oppo for a lot of my products these days, is because of that quality I'm getting. Whether it's the mid or high end, you're getting a really good product here that competes with the big boys. It really does. And thank you, Huawei, you've stepped aside and given companies like Oppo the chance to come through the ranks and deliver some really exciting products. Yeah, OnePlus and Oppo might have merged. Now, just quickly, the software is definitely Oppo software, but it is quite fluid and fast, and I think you will find that it really is its own flavor these days. It's not trying to be Samsung. It's no longer trying to copy Apple. It is an Android platform, and one that is very crisp and buttery smooth because it's got that good software and good hardware to go with it. Now, there are some things that are different to what you might be used to, and that's just a matter of learning a new system. So if you do flip from another brand, you're just going to learn a new system. Not too bad if you're coming from another Android phone. iPhone users might find it a little bit of a challenge, but eventually you will pick it up, guys. You'll be right. Battery life. If you're a medium user of your phone, you will get 2 days use out of the Find X3 Pro. If you're a heavy user like me, you'll easily get 1 day's use, put it on charge at bedtime, happy days. Or if you're like me, I will get up in the morning and put my phone on charge while I'm having a coffee. These days, they're generally charged by the time my coffee has finished, and then I use it for a whole 24 hours before charging it again the next morning. That's how I like to do it. That way I don't have my phone sitting on the charger for an extra 6 hours and it needs to be at night. I just plug it in, nice sharp burst of energy in the morning, and then get into it. It's a great phone. Actually, I did forget the front-facing camera is a 32 megapixel front-facing camera that does a fine job of recording front-facing videos and front-facing selfie pictures. This is a 32 megapixel front facing camera. So you're gonna get what you get with that. It's not as good as the rear cameras, but it's good enough. It's competitive with what else is on the market. It makes me look good. And I actually think another really good point to this phone is that the build, it's actually quite elegant the way it's made. So there's no sharp edges leading into the camera hump. It's a nice gentle slope up to the camera humps. The sides are nice and rounded as well. It is easy to hold. It is not sharp. It doesn't dig into your hands like some of the other phones can with their sharp edges. So I'm really digging the display, the build, the fingerprint scanner, the cameras, everything on the hardware and the body of this phone is ridiculously good. This is Connor from C-Dubs Media. I hope you have enjoyed the video and I will catch you in the next one. Check it.